Hello, everybody. Hope you are doing good. I was thinking about the generation gap, which I don't happen to have in my life personally. I have friends of every walk of life, every age, every color, everybody. So, and I've kind of always been like that, and I think my friends are like that too. Like we reach out to everybody. But I was just thinking, of the generations before. I wonder how many people um, had people throw um, things in their way so they won't communicate with the right person that can help their soul. Like back to the sins of the forefather. Like if somebody's mom did something horrible to them, and then they would get mad at somebody that is similar or somebody in that generation, that type of thing. Because, and I was thinking about somebody that, well, her mother didn't stop the abuse from the father. So when she met me, she treated me dirty. But then I was thinking maybe that's not it. Maybe she just is a witch and she doesn't like me. And I just have to get over it. Stop being mad about it. And because I know that's what these people want. They want me to get upset so I won't function, so I won't talk and let anybody else know, hey, I love you. You guys are great. That type of thing. They don't want us helping each other like that because just in case, like I put out the Finliner information, Mongolian connection, which I'm sure a lot of scholars are aware of anyway, like history scholar in biblical, like really deep into bloodlines and heritage, that type of thing. So, and then now Stephen Lawson is on here talking about the royal path and what that means. And he actually even put another connection, almost like correlating with mine in a manner of speaking. And he is a friend, but Facebook friend too. Um, sometimes Well, it's not like you can talk easier on Facebook. It's not like that at all. But because both venues of social media, well, in that respect, between YouTube or Facebook, I guess it doesn't really matter, except that we can kind of create on Facebook, but not in as a big way. So yeah. But yeah, so I was thinking about the generation gap, if that was really a thing, and I don't really think it is. When it comes right down to it, maybe it's getting to be, but I don't know. It's not like I became an adult and started disrespecting little kids or started disrespecting my elders or whatever. If they deserve my respect, I give it to them. I was raised in the generation that you disrespect your elders no matter what. Well, I'm perhaps this woman that's hurting me, or I should say women, um, they have a right to disrespect theirs, and maybe they're a bunch of me all up in there, but then maybe they're just not my type of woman as a friend. So then it goes back to my morality. So I guess just leave it at that because I have way younger female friends that aren't cruel. So yeah, nah. We'll just ace all that. And I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I just thought I'd get on here and say hi. Hi, you guys. Ladies, gentlemen, peeps. Oh man, what a day. So, yeah, I'm sure you know too. For no good deed goes unpunished. you know, if you say or do something good, you'll pay for it in one respect because Satan hates that shit. You know, you know, and you can't bargain with the devil. My son thought he could. My one son tells me that he did. I go, you can't make deals with the devil. I said, it's not allowed. And I said, and furthermore, he can't have anybody's soul. If you have a real soul, he can't have that thing. And if people really don't, well, and you can kind of tell by how they act, by the actual amount of soul they have from our fathers. So, and it's really hard. It's like, uh, in the respect that you want to help somebody, or if you think that they're maybe a little over the edge with their filthy minds or whatever, that maybe can help scrub it up or something. If they're over the edge like that, God can help them. You have to put it in their hands. I found that out really, really the hard way, no matter what. I mean, you know. So I just thought I'd get on here and talk about the generation gap that I don't believe even exists. It's just like mental illness. I don't believe in it, even though I worked with the handicapped and the mentally handicapped. But from what I observed, it had a lot to do with malnutrition, abuse, habits, all kinds of different things, or all of the above, you know, um, can lead to our mental health, you know. So I don't believe in mentally handicapped. I believe in physical. The brain is physical. The brain is not your soul. Mental implies a deeper thing that they can't put a label on, you know? So I don't know. That's just my opinion, and that's just how I feel. I mean, if I can make my own, and she's the head of 5 counties, a psychiatrist, started crying her eyes out, and I didn't even tell her a smidgen of my story. It's just like, just a little bit, and she freaked out. It's like, wow, this is rough. I felt like consoling her, and I was there for consolement myself. It's like, wow, forget it. So much for that. I go to the doctor and tell him I said I don't feel depressed. I'm sad, you know. Well, he gave me like, oh, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a real popular one. Like one of my friends had like Prozac, but it wasn't that. It started with a Z. Like I want to say Xanax, but it's not. Zortic or geez, I don't remember now. I only took it a little bit and it made me feel really weird and I just threw them away. Um, it's when I basically made the decision. My dad told me if I stayed up here, then I could just stay here and pretty much, that would he wouldn't be talking to me. And I said, well, that's fine then. I said, if you're gonna make a decision like that, and even on a Father's Day, he wouldn't invite Doug into his house. And I had gone down there to wish him happy Father's Day, and it was just really weird. And but then now I know that they actually are all related, like about like they would be like fourth and fifth cousins. My parents were with Doug and his parents, and it was really weird. One time, his parents met my parents, and his parents were like 10 years older than my parents, and they all stood there in the yard like a Mexican standoff. It was like a Illuminati standoff, and I'm standing there and I'm looking at these people and I'm thinking, you're all so much alike. Why aren't you talking and getting along? I just did not get it. I don't know, stuff weird, weird, weird. But yeah, weird stuff, let me tell you, around in my life. I might have told you Doug's mother resembles the Queen of England in a big way. My grandma kind of did, only she had dark, dark hair because that might have been too her English heritage. She was more, let me see, English and Welsh and Scotch Irish, and I think Danish and maybe some German, I something like that. And then my mom had the native, and then my father had a whole bunch of like Irish and blah 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 and French and whatever. My mom had the French and oh, probably French Canadian, and then the Native Americans, and so yeah, I don't know. I got a list of it sitting around somewhere. It's pretty wicked the traveling they all did. So that is the bloodline that was like hiding till this time, so we could like make things apparent to everybody else. We split up. They stuck in groups and we split up. And that because we're tough like that. And that's what we had to do to pass on that message in our DNA to help people in these times. And I know I always sound rough and I sound like I'm ragging on everybody. And I just have to be adamant about what's expected out of our Father. And that's, I'm talking to you in plain English. If you can understand it through the Bible, and I did, some people can't. And sometimes it's so twisted through the families and everything. Like you could have one kid that looks like totally Irish, acts like Irish, and they could be like part native or something, and they could be part like Swedish or something, and the next one will have like blonde hair and look like all Swede and act a certain way, and the different like how one child could be so different than another, and even with natural brothers and sisters and stuff. So I only have a half of everything. I've got 3, 4, 5, sis. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sisters and 4 brothers. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. They're all half. So yeah, and they're all very different from each other too. But yeah, I don't know. So weird. Oh, oh yeah. Poor neighbor across the street. I hear a new neighbor over there working on his house. So he's all good. Like during the week, I heard him, out there bang, bang, bang. You could hear like um, handwork, like 16 penny nail, or maybe a 14 or an 8, or And this morning it sounded like probably 8 penny nail, and it was like boom, boom, boom. And I'm thinking, dude, go rest your arm. I almost felt like grabbing my hammer and going over there and just saying, you want a little bit of help. But then I'm thinking, well, if he's got a wife and I'm walking over there, or if it is a girl and a guy or something, and I don't know who they are, and I'm not really friendly like that anyway, so it's like, no, forget it. Stupid thought. In fact, I used to act on my stupid thoughts like that and help people, and stupid. It really was. I mean, I still would in a way, but then I don't want to get close to any of my neighbors. I just really don't want anybody to have liberties to me if I can't monitor, you know. So that's that. My bullshit indicator would go off, and I'd be yelling at my neighbors, and I want to move further north. I want to get the hell out of here, even. So, and yes, I do. Won't be long. 1.5 years and counting. So, yeah. Oh, I don't know what else I really have to say. I pretty much was thinking about, like I say, the generation gap. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that mental illness is true. I think it's induced. And oh, I might have told you this story before, but I'll tell you this story again. There was this little girl I was working with named Carrie, and I was working at um, McDonald's because my kids had moved back in the house and I had to go get a job for them. Otherwise, I had been working few a few days a week at a body shop, not ours, because he was paying child support still, and we were just making our world go around. So, well, anyway, so I went and got this job, and I was a crew chief. So I'm teaching her how to do things they didn't want me to teach her. This one assistant manager did not want me teaching this girl how to make like breakfast burritos and all that shit. They had her scrubbing the toilets, and we were all supposed to take turns scrubbing the toilet, even if the assistant manager had to go do that. Man, she was pissed at me. So I'm sitting there, I'm teaching Carrie how to make burritos and all kinds of shit. Well, see, what had happened is what they tried to do to me. They keep you submissive and they only teach you so much when you're young or you're little, or they keep embedding you. You're stupid, you're dumb, or you can't do this, or you blah, blah, blah. You blah, 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 and you blah, blah, blah. And I told her, oh no, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to call your mother names, but you are not stupid. You come right over here. I took her hands and I go, don't get scared now. Just let me show you. And had her put on a glove and I put her hand in my hand and we grabbed some egg and we laid it in that burrito. She goes, I can't. I said, just feel my hands on top of yours and don't say nothing, okay? I go, trust me, okay? So, and I'm right in back of her and I'm holding her hands and we're wrapping that burrito and I laid it flat and we pushed it aside. I go, could you try one for me, please? And she did that like that and she looked at me like, am I doing okay? You're doing great. Beautiful. You know, I said a little more in that one. We'll just leave that one to the side and I put a little more in it when her back was turned. She was a little busy and she started making them beautifully, and boy, were they mad at me. They thought I wrecked their sleigh, you know. And that's what a lot of parents do to their children. So they tried to wreck me so I would stay there and take care of them for the rest of their life, and it doesn't work like that, you know. And that's what these sick assholes do. So, and this town is full of narcissists. I'm telling you, this is the major player of the bloodline. Also, it wasn't a matter of the plates shifting and so much of, we'll say, like a headstone or some superior, huge rock got shifted, say, like from Africa across the sands of the ocean on the bottom, because this used to be ocean here and settled in this area, and there's some crazy geology going on here. So, if anybody's interested in ley lines and geology and movement of the Earth's crust, you might be interested in from the Canadian border up east on there, where I live, up by Thunder Bay, coming down to Minneapolis, down 35W and back up in northern Minnesota, and along up by Winnipeg and up in there. There's some really unique geology going on here, and with all the sand and the clay and the slippery, um, it's interesting. The depth of it all, the depth of the granite that's in this area is. We have a literal bump on the earth right where we are that is closer to the sun in March, dead winter, than any other place in the world. And they have, I have a hard time, and I'm gonna find one. I used to have a topiary globe where you could see the height of every area that you live in, and they minimize where we live. Um, it isn't shown on a lot of maps. They lied about it, and they lied about the angles and the ley lines and all this stuff. And I've been trying to get this out here. I've been trying to prove it, you know. And they say the poles are shifting and all, and blah blah, and this and that. And I would say question everything. Don't believe anything unless you directly get it in your heart from God, because I mean, I would take nothing at face value. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I trust nothing and no one except for God. That's it, you know. If he brings a person, male or female, into my life and says, gives this person a chance, that's how I do things. I don't just accept. You don't do that to yourself. This world is too dangerous to just play that game. That's my opinion. So, you know what I'm saying. You streetwise people know that you just can't walk out there playing patty cake with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Dick, and Sally, and Harry loves Sally, and all that bullshit. You know what I mean. So, yeah, it is sad, but that part is very true. And it's not a skippy, yippy, skippy world and happy go lucky like that. It just is not, you know. So, anyway, so ever since my friend was sitting by the pool last weekend, that's got me thinking going swimming before summer ends. But everything's dog days around here, so I'll probably just do like I like to do. I'll wait till winter and rent a hotel and go swimming. You know, even up at the Hinkley Casino where I work, they've got let me see, a couple hotels on three, yeah, three up there, and they're pretty nice. They have one that's got a sauna and hot tub and in room whirlpools and that stuff. Your own private stuff. And yeah, and with there's not a lot of traffic. It's a little town. It's even smaller than our town. I'm not even sure about the amount of people within the whole town, but it takes you about 5 minutes to drive around it. I think it takes about 20 minutes to drive around ours. So, yeah, something like that. Or maybe a little more. It's grown a little bit, but yeah, it, yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess that's about it. I was just gonna kind of touch on that generation gap thing, but basically, it really is intentional input from the generations before and specific people set in your life by Satan, and they work as a team. They may not even know they're working on that team. You know what I mean? But they do or say something specifically to cause you to fail in any respect, and that's the name of Satan's game. That's how he plays that. Like I say, these people aren't even aware of each other most of the time. So no, I'm not talking about the bloodline. I'm talking about the ones that are being used. You know, like I was talking about or wrote on my other one, useful idiots is how oh, who said that? I don't know if it's Rex Bear, Leak Project, or hmm, I like Lionel Nation too. I listen to them once in a while, not all the time, but once in a while. In Israel news, I'll catch that once in a while. Depends on what the headlines are on there. I used to watch that quite a bit, but he kind of made me mad one time because it was fake. But then I didn't realize that I shouldn't be blaming him for reporting the news. I should be blaming the people on the other side of the world trying to scam us. So then I kind of let go of that. So, but yeah, um, yeah, if you want yippee skippy channels, there's like no offense, Jordan Sather, destroying the illusion. I love your channel. You're got great information. Um, you are um, needed in this world for people that have maybe a sore heart, but mine's so damn sore. Sometimes you're a little too flippin' happy for me, dude. So, you know, anyway, it's not that I want all deep, dark, and depression around me or anything, but I seem to understand and relate to people that have had a little worse than some others. So, yeah, and kind of ones that ignore their pain kind of don't, if you can kind of let it out, it really does help. To ignore it kind of puts you in the same old, we're going to ignore all this and put it in a box and shove it underneath our beds or something like that. And, you know, probably not a good idea thinking about it because I'm allergic to wood and cardboard and paper. And so I probably wouldn't want to put any box under my bed. Besides that, I'd probably get creeped out thinking that a spirit could crawl in there. No, I'm just kidding. I'd burn that sucker right in my house if I had to. Set them on fire, take my animals and go outside and watch it burn. Yeah. No, I wouldn't. If it caught on fire, though, I've had it happen, so, I really wouldn't give a shit. I'm still alive and I'm okay. And be like, well, whatever, things happen. So, you live through them, you adapt. That's one thing I always said, and then Metallica came out with this song, but I always said, no matter where I lay my head is where I'm at. And because I never knew what was going to happen to me, literally. And then they come out wherever I may roam, it's like where I lay my head is home. Okay, that's nice. Youngsters, But yeah, I used to have a Monsters of Rock t-shirt. Well, it was a friend's that gave it to my son, and I asked him if I could have it. He said I could use it, and then we would sort of argue about it. I'm like, this isn't even your era. You don't even need to like these guys. This is my music, and he's no, it was such a cool t-shirt. I just loved it. It was the only black t-shirt I really liked. Pretty much. I had one when I was about 17, 18. I was still in a real kind of dark mood. So, yeah, you can imagine I put like black on there and black everything, even black lipstick one time, and that was a bit much. But I'd have really, really dark eyes, and everything else would be kind of light, so it looked a little spooky all the time. Well, I can look spooky without makeup, so yeah. But yeah, I wasn't pretty much into the cutesy wootsy shit like that. I just could never handle all that shit. It's like I see people with all this shit, and it's like, I just sometimes just like to slap you for trying to be so cutesy wootsy. It's so fucked up, you know? Let's see who you really are. And I know this one, I'm just say it like it is, can't help it. Let's see your ass. Take the dye out of your hair and the shit off your lips, and let's see you talk when you're talking too. So no, I'm talking to somebody that thoroughly insulted me and pretend this is Eastern Star. This is somebody that deserves just what I said. So, and I am not kidding. And besides that, people are cute anyway. You don't need all that shit. You really don't. What are you going to do? Just like, okay, so then if you're young and you get married and your husband wakes up to the real you, it's like, whoa, dude. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I really, that's how I feel. Every time I think about putting some makeup on or something, I'm like, I just can't bring myself to do that again. It's like, I just can't, you know? I don't know. I just can't. Try and shit on my face. So, I don't know. Anyway, I guess whatever. It's fun when you're young, but I just think it really is a world of encouraging pedophiles because with the little girls wearing makeup more and more younger and trying to be sexual, and when you can hear little 5-year-olds thinking about doing shit, it's not all good. So this world is way too dirty in so many respects. There really is only one way out. And warriors, stick your guns, stick your morals, Godspeed and armor of God. And I mean this. I mean it. I mean it. it can be really discouraging, but they never get me down enough to love, not to love God. And the thing is, even if, and I've gotten mad at them, well, who am I getting mad at? Somebody I love, okay, but they can't make me not believe in them. They just can't, no matter what. So that's their freaky business, trying to make us not love God. Well, they can't take something away that you have. So yeah, even when I've messed up, they can't stop me. They can't make me feel like so dirty that I'm not going to move on and be better than I was the day before. I'm not stopping swearing. I'm not stopping smoking, at least not at this point. So I don't care about that. I really don't. I'm adamant with the fact that I know um, this world is not long for itself, and it isn't what people think. So if you can't stand up for what's morally right, you certainly don't deserve God's anything. That's why they want to pretend that there isn't a God so they can use and abuse and not have to face the music. That's what that's all about. So, okay, everybody, I'm going to let you go. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota. I love you very much. If you have a sour heart, don't let it get you down. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Laugh once every day. Look in the mirror and go, ha ha ha. Yeah, do that. It helps. It really does. I love y'all very much. Peace.